Hey ladies and gentlemen, this is Javier with The Real Javier Novoa. If you find value in our material, please subscribe and like. I am waiting in the drive-thru here at McDonald's for some coffee, and I just thought I'd make a quick video while I was doing that. The line is quite long. And ladies and gentlemen, I just got done binge listening to some Tim Ferriss interviews, some podcasts. And if you don't listen to the Tim Ferriss podcast, you are missing out big time. And I've read a lot of the works of Tim Ferriss, but I had not listened to a lot of his podcasts. And his interviews are just ingenious because he uses these interviews to basically deconstruct the habits of successful people and basically asking them their personal points of view, what they do, what their routines are, and so on and so forth. And in one particular interview, he was interviewing this gentleman by the name of Derek Sivers, who is a entrepreneur, a former musician, and someone who made a lot of great wealth and decided to quote-unquote retire early. But now he writes motivational and self-help books. He speaks. He's also a programmer. And it was just a fascinating interview. And some of the points were taken of what we discuss a lot on this channel and what we're going to be building a framework for and giving you step-by-step instructions on how to do. And that is maximizing or optimizing. I know the word optimize is a word that's used a lot in Tim Ferriss circles. Optimizing for happiness. And the first thing you have to do for that is to figure out what it is exactly that makes you happy. And most of the time, it's not going to be what you think makes you happy. And thus, the minimalism on our channel and why I'm introducing and going with a high minimalism component. Derek Sivers gave many examples of this. In one example, he was talking about how he was just finishing a deal to buy a house. And the night before, he thought to himself, I'm going to be so happy when I move into this new house. And he said, wait a minute, I already am happy. So he canceled the deal. And of course, we're not telling you not to buy a house and so on, because what you have to do is figure out what makes you happy and then pursue that. But first you have to experiment and figure it out. For example, the Epicureans, they were an ancient Greek philosophical school, and they believed that pleasure was a good. But in order to figure out what gave them pleasure, they first tried to figure out what they could do without. So they would go on these fasts. They would try to abstain from certain foods just to figure out, first of all, what it is that gave them pleasure, figure out what they could go without, and finally, when they attained the thing that gave them pleasure, they would enjoy it more. For a hungry man, as Epicurus said, enjoys food the most. So that's just a little bit of musing here about what we need to do. What we need to do is we need to see what we can go without. Not only then will we figure out what derives the greatest pleasure for us, and then we'll be able to build those frameworks into our lives, but also we'll be able to get there a lot quicker, at least on this film roll. And of course, with the tools that we give in this course, with knowing who you are, you can get anything. You can indeed attain anything once you tap in to that divine source. But as Joel Goldsmith, the great spiritual teacher, said, yes, you may manifest something, and you will manifest it, and then you may be very sorry later. And then you have to de-manifest that. And as Abraham Hicks said, very soon we'll be teaching seminars on de-manifestation. So these are just a series of thoughts. Figure out what makes you happy and optimize for happiness. Don't optimize for trappings, because those trappings may indeed not make you happy. You may think that they're going to make you happy, but they may indeed not make you happy. Indeed, they may add to your heartache and to your worry. The only way to figure that out is to experiment, see what you need and what you can go without. Then when you've created that tapestry and that framework of what will give you pleasure, what you think will give you pleasure, and we're going to teach you exactly how to do that. We're going to teach you how to craft your ideal day and then take yourself imaginally through that ideal day. Then what we're going to teach you how to do is figure out what realistically that would cost. And then when you figure that out, you'll have that on autopilot, so then you'll have more energy to purely manifest it out of the ether. And then it will be able to come to you in ways that you don't expect. The time will be shortened. The space in which you have to travel will be shortened. But that only comes with actually getting it out of your head, getting it out of your mind. And the only way you do that is to more or less solve it on the physical, in the physical arena. And we will go into more explicit details on that. We're going to start doing that this week. So guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to be making a lot more videos this week. This is Javier, and I'm about to order my coffee. I'll see you soon.